So I managed to get the bulk of this together. I've got the front sewn on and the back is still pinned, but it fits pretty good and it covers up the entirety of the bra line. So onward to sewing the back, because clearly I've got it fitted right. So today's task is to make some more bias tape for my nice over jacket that I've been avoiding. So I am measuring 3 inches just like I did with my under jacket and marking it for cutting here. Obviously my problem's back. I've flipped her off once already, so clearly I'm going to have to just cut around it today. And since it's bias tape, I'm cutting at an angle. Okay, there's the first cut. Now to get to the second one, I obviously have to move my problem here. So I have an ongoing battle tonight.
So now I'm just working on getting the pieces on the shoes here. So I opted to do a slow process of gluing it as I go around the shoe, and then I'm going to cut off the excess here. So I've already got a part of the back down, and I'm just doing it a little bit at a time. Not too heavy or it will go through the fabric. Of course, I picked up some calf fur. Just gonna smooth it out a bit. Push it in. And then I use a little bit of a weight just to keep it in place until it dries. There's not too much left on the back heel, but then I've got to make the shoe cover for the rest of the shoe.
So I am back at this. I've got my circulars cut. I trimmed up the back a bit too. I tightened up my sides. And I am also testing the sleeve size, just to make sure I've got the right size opening and it's not too big. And I put the middle piece on so I can test where I need to put my centerpiece. So I'm continuing on with making the bias tape after taking quite a break. The virus kind of went out of control here in the States and I've been in quarantine. Not because I'm sick, but it really gets to be depressing and kind of kills your motivation to do any costume work when your con gets canceled. And any con in the foreseeable future, too. But I'm determined to finish this. It just is going to take me a lot longer because of the emotional issues. So I am doing the double fold for my bias tape, and I am ironing it flat here. I'm not quite sure how many pieces I'm going to need, but I've got quite a few cut. Cooperating, I'll just do some ironing of this, so that's going to look like the other piece. Trying to flatten this down so it can go on the costume a lot easier. It's going to be a lot of work, but at least my fabric will match, which is what's important to me. So it's probably going to take me 5-10 minutes per piece, and they're pretty short. But that's just me working with the fabric I had left over, going and buying even more. Alright, I've got about 2 of the lengths of my bias tape pinned on here, and I am just sewing it on and finishing the edges. Partly only did 2 because I ran out of pins. Another part is I'm already stabbing myself with them. So as you can see, it's a very nice finished edge. It's exactly what I want. As soon as I started pinning this on, it really started to look like the character, which makes me very happy. After having a very depressed, month or so here. I'm not going too close to the edge, just to make sure. And my bias tape is full length inside, so it's catching all my edges. And I'll just have to make sure I iron it well when I finish it. But that's going to be a while, considering I couldn't even pin it all up and get this done in one shot. I'll probably also run out of bobbin again. A common problem. But it's looking really good, so I'm happy with that. And onward I go. Okay, so I am finished putting all the red on my nice coat, and I made a heat and bond art to put on the back. It's not perfect, but it looks pretty good because it's never perfect in the show. So I'm just taking the extra heat and bond side off that you draw your template on, and setting it where I want it here. And I've got my iron heated up, and it's time to do counts. Let's just sort of hold and iron with heat and bond. It makes weird shapes look a lot better. And I found using the Ultra Hold is a lot better than the other brand they have. It tends to come off really quick if you use the lighter brand. But you gotta make sure you make it nice and hot to adhere properly. Heat and bond is such a savior on a lot of costumes I do. And voila! It's adhered, it looks good. Okay, I've moved on to the sleeves. I've got them all pinned inside to right side and all that stuff, so I'm just gonna sew the first one on, test it out to make sure I didn't do it backwards like I've done a few times before. And then I will pretty much be done with this. I just have to, fold this back and probably pin it in place a bit. But the top jacket is almost completed. Getting there.